All right, everyone, happy Monday. I'm going to open up the breakout rooms quickly. Do not go to a breakout room unless I specifically call you by name and assign you to a breakout room. All right, Camilo Rodriguez, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1 so that the clerks can swear you in. Who is his attorney?
Okay, yes, ma'am.
All right, who is Mr. Rodriguez's attorney?
It's Gary Chirac.
All right, thank you. All right, everyone, welcome to the 187th District Court. These are the rules of the 187th District Court. You're in the courtroom. And anything that you could not do if you were physically in this courtroom, you cannot do while you're on the Zoom screen. To all the defendants who are at the Bexar County Jail, you're not allowed to use the chat box. You are not allowed to use the internet. If you do any of those things, you will be sent back to your cell. To all the defendants who are on bond, you're not allowed to be doing chores. If you're at work, you need to let your employer know that you need to take a break because you are in court. Jones L7, who is that? Does anyone know if that's an inmate? Let me see.
Judge, it might be Kenneth Jones on page 18.
All right, thank you. So that's an inmate. To all the defendants who are on bond, you're not allowed to let your screen go blank or your video to go off. The only reasons are for 2 reasons. 1, there's an incoming call and you're on the phone, which you need to immediately decline, or 2, you're signing paperwork. If you violate the rules of the 187th District Court, no matter if you're out of county, out of state, out of country, you're going to be required to appear in person and your Zoom privileges will be revoked. The courtroom is located at 300 De La Rosa. That is on the 4th floor, the 187th District Court. If you violate the rules, you'll need to take an Uber or a Lyft to come downtown, or you may need to take the VIA bus. If you take the VIA bus, you're going to find out that the prices of VIA are still, they're still the same from when I wrote it. But the only issue is they don't give back any change. And when you need change, you don't have it. So that bus ride is probably going to cost you $5 to $10. If you drive downtown, you're going to find that somebody decided that it's best to start construction during rush hour traffic. You're going to find a lot of detours that nobody was told about beforehand. And you're probably going to end up picking a nail in your tire. If none of these things happen and you are lucky enough to find a parking space, you're going to find that parking has increased greatly. Mr. Chirac, I've requested that you go to breakout room number 1 so that you can see if all your client's paperwork is done.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. To all the defendants, your attorney's name will be called. Your name will not be called. We have 3 attorneys here today. Well, 4. Raymond Martinez, John Fox, Ed Shaughnessy, Rolando Arguelles.
You got it, Judge.
Thanks. If you could add to your name, the name of your client and whether or not it's criminal trial division or family violence, that would help us move more quickly. If you have a plea bargaining agreement, you need to put it in the chat box of the court coordinator. She's listed as Ferguson coordinator. Mr. Chirac, I requested that you go to breakout room number 1. Okay. If your client, if the plea bargaining agreement is, she'll need to know whether or not it's deferred, whether or not it's regular probation, or whether or not it's for time, so that she can get the proper paperwork to you and your client. If your client is on bond, she will need to know your client's email address, and so will the state. Raymond Martinez, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 3.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. John Fox.
Morning, Judge.
Good morning. Who's your client?
It's Anthony Tice. It's a motion for early termination.
Is it criminal trial division or family violence?
I believe it's with us, Judge.
It's CTD, yes.
All right, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 4.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. Ed Shaughnessy, who do you have?
Jasmine Hardaway with Marcus.
Okay. I'm going to send you to number 5. And Rolando, I'm going to send you to number 6. And while y'all do that, I'm going to sign some paperwork.
And Judge, can you make me a co-host, please?
Yes, sorry about that. I don't know how I didn't do that. John Fox?
Yes, Judge, we're back. And I think we're ready to go forward on Mr. Tice. I think we have an agreement on the early termination.
All right, is there an agreement?
There is, Judge, at least from our position, Judge, we have no opposition to you early terminating him. Rebecca's put us in contact with his probation officer who said he's finished his conditions and she has no opposition to it as well.
Okay, then I will sign the order for early termination. Mr. Tice, I hope you've learned something.
Yes, ma'am, I have. I've learned. Yes, ma'am.
See, and you know what, John, here comes the test. What have you learned?
Man, none of this is worth it. None of this is worth it.
Oh, that's
All these hoops that I've been jumping through and everything like that. And I just lost my mom back in just a few weeks ago, and like having to jump through hoops just to get to her and bury her and everything like that. It's just, all this is just not worth it anymore.
All right. Well, I'm sorry to hear about your mom's passing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. I have signed the motion.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Fox, if you don't have anything else with us, you're excused.
Thank you, Judge. If you don't mind, if they can throw me in a breakout room with Mr. Tice and I can kind of explain to him the mechanics of all this, that'd be great. And we'll just sign out from there if that's all right.
Yes, I'll send you to breakout room number 2.
Thank you.
And Mr. Tice, if you could go to 2.
Yes, ma'am.
Adam Cardenas, who do you have?
I've got MTR Judge Albert Aghetti. If I could confer with the state briefly, Judge.
Is it criminal trial division or family violence?
Family violence.
All right, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 4.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Catherine Valenzuela. I'm going to send you to breakout room number 5.
Thank you.
Ed Shaughnessy, you are back.
I am.
Just give me one moment. All right, what is happening with your client Hardaway?
Yes, Your Honor. Whoa, what was that? Yes, Mr. Marcus and I have, or Marcus has apparently found the lacking medical records. Apparently they were with Brooke Army Medical Center, and he is awaiting copies of those documents.
And how long are you anticipating that to take, Mr. Sanders?
Judge, I'm not sure. I asked my investigator. He said it could be weeks or it could be a couple of months.
Okay. All right, let me look at our calendar. I'm going to set us for April 11th. And then also, Mr. Shaughnessy, you're here on bond conditions?
No, that's been resolved, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll see you back on April 11th, and we'll see how we're doing with discovery.
Will do.
All right, thank you. You and your client are excused.
Okay, thank you.
Raymond Martinez?
Judge Michelle and I had a chance to confer. I'm going to, with the court's permission, log off while she does some more investigation and hoping to submit an agreement to the court either later today or soon.
All right, thank you. So if you can make sure you log back in by 11:45.
Okay, Judge.
All right, thank you. Michaela Dottie, you're on mute.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1. They'll make sure that all of your paperwork is completed.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
George Schaefer, is your client criminal trial division or family violence?
Judge, he's criminal trial division. We are, however, waiting for the competency evaluation on him.
Okay, just one moment. Ms. Ferguson on Joe Castagnon, can you check to see where we are on the competency evaluation?
Yes, ma'am. Give me just 1 second.
I did speak with the doctor last week, so I assume he's in the process of preparing it.
All right. Do you know, has the evaluation actually taken place?
He apparently has talked to him, and he told me he was going to try to talk to him again.
All right, sir, in the truck, what is your name?
I'm sorry, you talking to me?
Oh, no, I'm talking to the person in the truck. What is your name?
Sorry.
What is your name, sir? What is your name?
James Cole.
I'm sorry, what?
James Cole. Sorry, Your Honor.
You're welcome. When you sign in, your name needs to be your correct name, not the handle you give yourself. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, I'm going to write something in the chat.
Sorry about that, Your Honor. I was trying to unmute everything and get situated because I had to park. I had to pull over and park.
No problem. All right, Ms. Ferguson, what date will we give Joe Castagnon? And is Joe Castagnon in custody?
He is, Your Honor.
All right, we're going to come back on April 18th. Do you need to speak with your client, Mr. Schaefer? He's not on the screen yet.
No, Your Honor, I do not. I have to get to a juvenile hearing anyway.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can you counsel Mr. Castagnon?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're excused.
18 April, we'll have it on the calendar, Judge.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
John Robertson, who do you have?
I have Omar Madison, Your Honor.
Criminal trial division or family violence?
I think it's probably family violence.
Okay. Let me double check. Yeah, it's criminal trial division.
Okay.
I'm going to send you to breakout room number 6.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Claudine Espinoza.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Who do you have?
I have Michaela Doty. It's cause number 2022 CR 0492.
All right. We're just making sure that all the paperwork is done. Ms. Doty, were you sworn in?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Is there a prosecutor available to take this plea?
I'm
I
here
can,
to-
Your Honor.
All right. Thanks. All right, Ms. Sparks, where are you?
Judge, are you looking for me?
Yes, who said they could take the plea? Or maybe it
Michaela
was.
Doty? Oh, that was me.
Okay. All right, the court is calling 2022 CR 0492, State of Texas versus Michaela Doty. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Michelle Hayden for the state.
for the defense?
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Claudine Espinosa, and along with Hector Gonzalez, we represent Miss Michaela Doty.
And are you Miss Doty?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any objections to Miss Espinoza representing you for this plea?
No, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic, which appears that the numbers have risen. Any objections from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any objections from the defense?
No objections from the defense, Your Honor.
Ms. Doty, I'm showing you what's entitled defendant's consent to appear by video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Next, I'm showing you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
Believe so, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Dottie, I'm going to show you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Proceeding in count 1 and waiving count 2.
Any objections?
No objections, Your Honor.
Ms. Dottie, I'm going to show you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand what you're charged with in count 1 is assault, family choking, strangulation? That's a third-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty, not grant you community supervision, and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
We've been able to discuss everything, Your Honor, and she has been able to assist us in the preparation and defense of this case.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I do, Your Honor. Yes.
Ms. Dottie, has anyone threatened you, forced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
I am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page, did you review that page with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, the state is proceeding on count 1. They requested a $1,500 fine, recommending deferred adjudication, taking into consideration county court cause number 665042. They're asking for the BIPP course, an affirmative finding of family violence, no harmful or injurious contact with Melanie, Melanie Garcia. Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to be designated as primary custodial parent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that to be the entirety of your plea bargain agreement?
Yes.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
It is, Your Honor, I had written down as a $1,000 fine. Did you say a $1,500 fine?
Yes. And what I can tell you is the courts, I normally probate that fine.
Okay, no, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure because.
And
okay.
Judge, I do see, I was looking at my notes. I meant to put $1,000 fine. I put 1,500. So I'm fine with that being amended.
All right, Ms. Dottie, do you understand that they're amending your fine amount to $1,000?
Yes, ma'am.
But do you understand also, if you do not successfully complete this deferred adjudication, you can be sentenced up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Then do you understand that to be the entirety of your plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm going to show you the paragraph entitled Waiver of Appeal. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
Not that I'm aware of, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. The state is requesting that your term of deferred adjudication be 6 years. There be a TAP evaluation and 120 hours of community service restitution. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to count one in the indictment, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence to support the defendant's plea.
State offers State's Exhibit 1 and its attachments into evidence.
Any objections?
No objections, Your Honor.
Ms. Dottie, I'm going to show you is your last name Dottie or Dottie?
It's Dottie.
All right, thank you. Ms. Dottie, I'm going to show you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, the court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We are, Your Honor, if that's what defense is inclined to do. I thought we were going to have victim impact statement, but I'm not sure that she's going to make it in time.
All right, who is the, and that is from Melanie Garcia?
Yes.
All right. So defense, are you ready to proceed with sentencing?
Your Honor, I'm just getting a message from Hector. Could I go off
Yes.
video for just a second? I'm sorry.
Sure, no problem. All right, while she's doing that, we're off the record. John Robertson on Omar Madison.
Yeah, Your Honor, I have conferred. I just got appointed on this case about 12 days ago, I think, and they've gotten discovery, but there's a disc I need to pick up at the DA's office, and so we're going to need to reset some
Okay,
videos.
just give me a moment. Omar Madison. Mr. Madison? Whenever you are on, you need to show your video.
Okay,
If
yes,
you
ma'am.
come back on this Zoom again and do not show your video, what's going to end up happening is there's not going to be any excuses. I'm just going to have your Zoom privileges revoked. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So what are you waiting for, Mr. Robertson?
There's a disc with a couple of videos that was not able to be uploaded to the e-discovery system, and there's a copy of it waiting for me this afternoon at the DA's office.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 30-day reset for Mr. Madison, and that'll be set for discovery? Is that the only outstanding discovery?
As far as I know at this time, Your Honor.
All right, we'll come back on April 11th.
Thank
And
you.
if you have nothing else with us, you are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Roland Arguez.
Yes, Judge, I just conferred with the state on this matter, but we don't see my client on the Zoom. And he's in custody.
Let me see. Miss Ferguson, if you can see what the ETA is on his client, please. So
Thank you,
just give us a moment. We'll find out what's going on.
Yes, Judge, thank you.
Cornelius Cox, who do you have?
Mr. Willis, can you hear me?
Yes. Oh, you just went on mute. It's Monday, but it's a beautiful Monday. All right, you are still on mute, Mr. Cox. Let me see if I can.
What about now, Judge? Oh. Now,
Okay, so
can you?
yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, Mr. Willis, Alexander Willis.
Yes,
I thought you were going to say Willis.
Oh, as in what you're talking about?
Yes.
Willis. All right, Judge, this is one where I needed to send get to the clerk, and I'm emailing it now. Verification that my client was incarcerated in Dallas County. So I spoke
All right,
to the
I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1.
Thank you, Judge.
And if the clerks would meet him in 1. All right, Leo, is your client criminal trial division or family violence?
Criminal trial division, Your Honor.
Okay. I'll send you to breakout room number 2. Jeannie Cupid.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Yes. Oh, thank you for changing your name. I'm going to send you to number 6.
Thank you, Judge.
And Orlando Arguez.
Yes, Judge.
Sorry, Rolando Arguez. I'm going to send you to number 8. And I'm going to request that your client go to 8. They're just waiting for him to be seated in the box. If you'll remain on screen till that happens.
Yes, Judge, thank you.
All right, we are back on the record in 2022 CR 0492. Defense, are you ready to proceed with sentencing?
Your Honor, Hector is jumping in right now. We should be ready in just 1 second. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, Mr. Chiric, I'm going to take up your matter in just 1 moment. All right, Hector Gonzalez.
Hello, Judge. Good morning.
Hello. Are you ready to proceed with sentencing?
Your Honor, could you put us in a breakout room very briefly with Miss Michaela Dottie?
All right, I'm going to send you out of breakout room number 1. I'm going to take up another matter.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Miss Dottie, if you'll go to breakout room number 1, please. Gary Churak,
Yes, ma'am.
are you ready to proceed?
We are.
Who's the prosecutor?
Michelle Hayden.
Thank you. All right, the court is going to call 2022 CR 2234W, State of Texas versus Camilo Richard Rodriguez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Michelle Hayden for the state.
For the defense?
Gary Chirac for the defense.
And are you Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor, I am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No
No, ma'am.
objection.
Any objection from the defense?
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Rodriguez, I'm going to show you what's entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video Conference. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Next, I'm going to show you what's entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Rodriguez, I'm going to show you a document entitled Waiver of Indictment, Reading of Information and Rights under Article 1.051 and 26.03 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Did you understand by signing that you're giving up your right to have a grand jury hear the evidence in this case and make a decision on whether or not to indict?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing this, you're also giving up certain rights your attorney has, namely 10 days from the presentation of the information and 2 days, to prepare for trial, and 2 days passage of time from the presentation of the information? Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived indictment, reading of information and rights under Article 1.051 and 26.03 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. Next, I'm showing you what's entitled Information. Did you review that document with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the information?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the information as presented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Rodriguez, I'm going to show you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendant's Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Did you understand you're charged with violation of bond, protective order, assault, or stalking? That's a third-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I sure did, Your Honor.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty, not grant you community supervision, and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
He does, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
He is, Your Honor.
Mr. Rodriguez, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page, did you review that page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
According to the plea bargain agreement, there's a $1,000 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication. They will take in consideration county court cause numbers 662-074, 662-075, Jan number 2038134, grand jury numbers 758-009 and 758-012. There's to be no harmful or injurious contact with Vanessa Reyes, BIPP, in affirmative finding of family violence. Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition?
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to be designated as primary custodial parent?
Yes, ma'am. Correct.
Did you understand that to be the entirety of your plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm going to show you the paragraph entitled Waiver of Appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am, I did, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
There has not, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. The state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 3 years. There be a TAP evaluation and 200 hours community service restitution. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offense is charging the information. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence to support the defendant's no contest plea.
State offer States Exhibit 1, its attachments into evidence.
Any objections?
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Rodriguez, I'm showing you what's entitled Waiving Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence States Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. right, if I could see defense and state in breakout room number 1, please.
Sure.
And Gary Cherry, you already signed to number 1.
Okay.
All right, Carl Basil, who do you have?
So I have John Macias. It should be a criminal trial. It's a drug MTR. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 5.
Okay, thanks.
Jonathan Ross, who do you have?
Morning, Your Honor. I have Mr. Yusbel Sanchez,
Criminal Trial Division or Family Violence?
Criminal Trial Division.
All right, I'm going to send you to number 9.
Okay.
Do it. What?
That's not gonna get the charger. Are you connected?
Yeah.
You have charger?
Yeah.
If not, I still have charger.
Yeah. I do.
All right, Cornelius Cox.
Judge, I think we have the all the necessary paperwork in, and we can complete the plea on Mr. Willis.
All right, do you need to be in a breakout room with Mr. Willis?
Well, we've discussed everything, Judge, so I think we're good to go.
All right, has he already signed the paperwork?
I think we had, the only thing he had to do was sign the permission to, and I think those things are already forwarded. But I'll check, let me check, put me in with the clerk, Judge, just to make sure that we signed everything, but I think we have.
All right, Mr. Willis, if you go to breakout room number 1, and Mr. Cox, if you go to 1.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. And everyone, just give us a moment, put some patience in your pocket. Okay. Yes, she should be sending it to you. All right, thanks. Hey, but it's Monday. We made it through the weekend, so that's always good. Brenda, it's Monday. I have a new resolution, which is stopping soda cold turkey.
I hope you don't get a headache.
Yeah, I'm just doing water. On Lit House on the Prairie, they only did soda on special occasions because, you know, Pa can afford it.
Judge, any chance of conferring with Mike Villarreal, please?
Who's speaking?
Adam Cardenas.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Adam. I did not see you there.
Right.
All right, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 3.
Thank you.
Judge, it's Rebecca. Can I step away really quick?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, we are back on the record in 2022 CR 2234W. State any evidence to present?
State offers States Exhibit 1, its attachments into evidence.
All right, any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, the court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
We can proceed, Your Honor. We'll waive PSI.
All right, anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, I just wish that you would follow the plea bargain agreement, and my client has realized the ways that he lived were not the right way to go. And I think his eyes have been awakened this last couple of months, sitting on home arrest is what he's afraid to me. And
All right, so
a good candidate for probation.
all right, my question is, why should we have a no harm or injurious contact? Because we're here for the same thing, sort of. He was placed on a condition of bond to have no contact with the complainant. And not only did he have contact with her, he had contact with her and he hit her. And the reason why he had a no contact order on his bond conditions was for hitting her. So why should we do a no harm or injurious contact?
Camille, do you still have a relationship with this woman?
No, Your Honor.
right,
I've since then, Your Honor, have cut ties with the victim, and I've learned from that mistake, and I've also learned that, you know, those actions have ultimately led me to where I am now, which has been in confinement for the past almost 6 months, and it's really made me realize how important life is and how a man should not act that way towards a woman. Growing up, I saw my own father act like that towards my mother, and it really makes me ashamed that I can potentially lead down the same path, and that's not what I want. And I have also, out of respect for the victim, have not contacted her or wanted to do anything like that. So just to kind of keep the peace and to hold up my end of everything and my accepting my consequences, that was part of something that I did for myself.
Judge, so we have no problem with no contact, basically.
All right, do you have any children?
No, Your Honor, I don't. I do have nieces and nephews who I've been fortunate enough to stay with these past 6 months that have really opened my eyes a whole lot more as to, and they're all little girls too, and it's really opened my eyes as to how to treat, you know, women and how to, you know, offer respect to women at that level and all levels.
All right. How far did you go in school?
I completed about 2 years of college at Northwest Vista Community College here in San Antonio. And then,
go ahead.
Oh, and after that, the reason I stopped is because I just began working. I jumped into a career in sales, and I kind of started doing that to try to gain experience and build my way that way. And
so what are you planning on doing with the rest of your life as far as career-wise?
Well, career-wise, prior to this, I was back into the car business, selling Hyundai vehicles over at Red McCombs Hyundai Northwest. But also last year, in the year of 2020, I started my own pressure washing business, which is registered here in Bexar County. And
moving forward, if I'm unable to go back to work to sell cars based on my background, I don't know how this case will negatively affect my background. However, I still have my business that I can build and grow, and I have my equipment, and I have clients ready to take on that are ready for business. So I think that if I'm unable to go back to work, then I'm just going to grow my business and go pedal to the metal and really become something here in the city of San Antonio, and just kind of pick up back where I left off.
All right. This is what the court is going to do. $1,000 fine that'll be probated, 3 years deferred adjudication, 200 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. Court is not requesting or requiring you to do the COVID vaccination, but if you do it, 40 of those hours will be deducted, and that includes the booster. There's to be no contact with Vanessa Reyes, the BIPP course, affirmative finding of family violence, taking consideration County Court Cause number 662074, 662075, Jan number 2038134, grand jury numbers 758009 and 758010, proof of employment within 15 days, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors, regular UAs or the patch, regular Zoom reporting, or in person. So if your Zoom does not work, you'll need to report in person. The patch costs more than the UAs, but with the patch, you have more freedom as far as reporting. With regards to the GPS, any requests on the GPS?
Judge, we asked that we removed.
State any objections to the removal of GPS?
Judge, we'll defer to the court. It wasn't included as part of the plea agreement.
All right, then the court will order removal of GPS.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. We're going to do field visits, random, 1 time per month.
Okay. What is
All right.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Your Honor. One question, field visits, that's in regard to probation?
Yes.
Yeah, that's probation.
Okay. And I'll just go over that with Mr. Trek, everything, or?
Yeah, you'll actually
And
talk to
probation will go over that with you.
Okay, okay.
I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And because there's an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you want the definition of weapon or ammunition, you need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, with that, we can go off the record. Mr. Rodriguez, I know you're excited because you're going to be off of GPS. You're sort of getting this behind you. You're telling me you've learned your lessons now that you have felony probation. I hope you've learned those lessons.
Yes,
but
ma'am.
here's my advice to you.
Okay.
Don't get into a relationship right now because you need to work on you.
I agree.
And I
100%.
wouldn't recommend doing that until you've completed your BIPP courses.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
But
I
while you're
definitely
doing
agree.
those courses, and I tell everybody this, get an orchid. Get one that already has its blooms on it. You can get it at the Walmart, at HEB. They're not that expensive.
Okay.
Keep it for a year. So after the blooms fall off, keep it. And if it reblooms, you may be ready for a relationship. Because let me just tell you, when you get it from the store, it's great. But I'm still waiting for mine to bloom again. It's been, how long has it been, Brenna? Like 3 years since you all gave this to me?
Probably 3 years.
And I have a green thumb. So I say that because, and I don't mean it in a lightly, but I say that because orchids takes patience. You can follow directions to the letter. I have, and it still hasn't rebloomed. So I'm going to send you
That's
to
beautiful.
breakout room. You're welcome. I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2. Wait in there patiently. Probation will be there with you shortly.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Ms. Boyd.
You're welcome.
And Judge, can I be excused?
Yes, you may be excused. And
Hey, Judge?
everyone, yes.
Little farmer's advice, Miracle-Gro and cow manure.
Okay, I'm not going to have cow manure in the office, but I thank you for that.
Oh, you just kind of mix it in a little.
Okay.
All right,
All
Judge.
right.
Have a good
You're
day.
welcome. Everyone, please just have some more patience in your pocket.
Yes, ma'am.
Hector and Mr. Rodriguez, if you'll go to breakout room number 2 and just waiting there for me patiently. And we have Hector Rodriguez and Miss Dottie.
Good morning, Judge.
Just one moment. All right, we are back on the record in 2022 CR 0492, State of Texas versus Michaela Dottie. Could parties re-announce for the record, please, for the state?
Michelle Hayden for the state.
For the defense?
Hector Gonzalez. I'm sorry, Judge. Hector Gonzalez from Michaela Dottie.
And are you Miss Dottie? All right, the court had found there was sufficient evidence to find Miss Dottie guilty. However, the court had deferred finding her guilt as the defendant had applied for deferred adjudication. Are you ready to proceed with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Just briefly, Judge, while Miss Dottie's been on bond this entire time, she's been seeing her doctor regularly. There were some mental health issues that were involved with this matter, but she's been seeing her doctor regularly. She's been on medication. She's been monitored. She's been doing well. She's working full-time at a restaurant here in town, been living with her father and doing well there as well. So we would just ask that the court follow along with the plea agreement and grant Ms. Dottie the deferred adjudication with the conditions.
All right, Ms. Dottie, is your relationship over with Melanie Garcia?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so you don't have any objection to having no contact with her?
The only reason I would like to have any kind of contact with her is to hopefully begin to make amends. Maybe not immediately, but I feel like it's something that I would like to do. Going through this had me realize a lot of stuff that I wasn't dealing with. So getting the professional help that I needed and starting to forgive a lot of the past and appropriately deal with it correctly without drinking and becoming, just aggressive in my emotions. I would like to hopefully one day, if she's willing to hear me out, apologize, and hopefully, just be able to, if it's not together, then just lead really good lives apart. But I would like to be able to tell her how sorry I am for all of this.
You can say that right now. I don't think you should have any contact with her. I know both parties, part of your agreement was she's to have no harmful or injurious contact with Melanie Garcia, but I'm reading in the police reports, and in the police reports, Miss Garcia had to call her ex-boyfriend to say that her girlfriend was beating her up. And in it, the complainant says that she was choking her. And it took a while for her to let the police in the apartment. So she shouldn't be having contact with her. So does anyone have any objection to the court not following that part of your agreement?
No, Your Honor.
No.
All right, because I'm reading here, Ms. Dottie, where you said, good, I hope you pass out, I hope you die. So the court is not going to agree to you having contact with her. Are you employed?
Yes, ma'am.
And what do you do?
I'm a server at a restaurant called Lupe Tortilla here in San Antonio.
Do they wash the dishes very well?
Yeah, yes.
I say that. We had someone said, bring your own silverware and bring your own plates. So I'm just wondering, I'm now taking inventory of all of that to just make sure I know what's going on. How far did you go in school?
Some college, Your Honor. I was starting classes this past fall, and then I had to drop out halfway through, and I was unable to re-enroll for the spring semester. But I think I'm going to pursue beauty school to become an esthetician.
All right. What school were you going to?
I was at Northwest Vista.
Okay. All right. Do you have any children?
No, ma'am.
All right. This is what the court is going to do. $1,000 fine, probated, 6 years deferred adjudication. Take in consideration County Court Cause number 665042, BIPP, affirmative finding of family violence. 120 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. The court is not requiring anyone to get the COVID vaccination, but if you do, 40 of your hours will be deducted, and that will include the booster shot. There's to be no contact with Melanie Garcia, proof of employment within 15 days, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors, regular reporting by Zoom. If something happens and you can't report by Zoom, you need to do it in person. Regular UAs or patch. Field visits, one time per month. And who is she seeing, Mr. Gonzalez?
Who is your doctor, Michaela?
Right now it's a temporary doctor through UT Health Science Center. So they always have a different therapist that I speak to. And they have just like in and out psychiatrist, but it's just through the UT Health Center right now as a transitional care facility.
All right, I'll order that she continues with Center for Healthcare Services, and we'll do a MIC evaluation. Ms. Reyes, is there anything else she needs?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Taylor, is there anything else that you need from the court in order to be successful?
No, Your Honor. I just have a question. Will I be able to get the monitoring device off?
All right, state, any objections to removal of the GPS?
Judge, again, we'll defer to the court. It wasn't included as part of the agreement.
All right. All right, the court will remove GPS. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a question over the definition of weapon or ammunition, you need to speak to your attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that will close the record. Ms. Dottie, you heard what I said about the orchid. Don't get involved in any relationships. You need to work on yourself. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, before I send you to the breakout room, we're going to call one more case. Ms. Reyes, the court is going to call 2018. Well, just one moment before we go on the record. Is this to be continued, Ms. Valenzuela, or no?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Then Ms. Reyes, if you could go to breakout room number 3, and Ms. Dottie, I'll send you to breakout room number 3. Defense, you can go to number 3, or either you can be excused.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good day. Good to see you.
Thank you. You too. All right. Who is the party on Rudy Barra?
It's Ryan is from the state's office.
All right, the court is calling 2018 CR 6647, State of Texas versus Rudy Barra. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Ryan Groomer for the state of Texas.
For the defense?
Catherine Valenzuela, Your Honor.
Are you Mr. Barra?
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
None from the state.
Any objection from the defense?
None from the defense, Your Honor.
Mr. Barra, I'm showing you what's entitled defendant's consent to appear by video conference. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, I did.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Showing you what's entitled motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, I did.
Are you the same Rudy L. Barr who's placed on deferred adjudication in 2018 CR 6647 for the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1 less than 1 gram, on March 7, 2019 for a period of 2 years and extended for a total of 1 year? Is that you?
Yes, it is.
State?
Yes, Judge. Violated condition number 5 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Rudy L. Barra, did then and there fail to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of September, November, and December 2021 in violation of condition number 5.
How do you plead to that, true or not true?
True.
We'd waive the remaining conditions, Your Honor.
Any objection to the state's waivers?
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Barr, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 5, the court could find that you would grant the motion, find you guilty and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, I did.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 5?
Yes.
Court will find violation of condition number 5 true. Is there an agreement?
There is, Judge. We have an agreement that we are recommending to the court. Judge, in consideration for his plea to condition number 5, we would ask that you enter an adjudication of guilt and revoke Mr. Bada and sentence him to 30 days in the Bexar County, 32 days in the Bexar County Jail under 1244.
Is that
That
the
is our
agreement?
understanding, Your Honor.
Mr. Bear, are you asking the court to follow that agreement?
Yes,
Are you waiving your right to appeal?
yes.
All right, defense, is this a judgment satisfied or no?
Yes, Your Honor. His 32 days total credit.
All right, the court will follow your agreement, find you guilty, not grant you community supervision, sentence you to 32 days in the Bexar County Jail under 12.44 of the Penal Code, give you credit for any time served. The court will show that the judgment is satisfied. Showing you what's entitled trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, I did.
Because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
I do.
Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
If you have a question over the definition of weapon or ammunition, you need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
All right, with that, we'll close the record. Mr. Barra, whenever you take drugs, you know what ends up happening? You never know what you're gonna get, because nobody's a chemist, it's not FDA approved. You're taking your life in your hands every time you do drugs. Do you understand?
I do understand.
All right, then you are excused. Norma,
Thank you, Your Honor.
L3 can go back. Thank you, Ms. Valenzuela.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused also?
Yes, you may be excused.
Have a good day.
All right, you too. All right, everyone. Jenny Cupid says she's waiting for someone from family violence and breakout room number 6.
I'll go talk to her, Judge.
Thank you. James DeWiggins, who do you have?
Siraj Whitehorn,
Criminal Trial Division or Family Violence?
criminal trial.
All right, I'll send you to number 4. Jonathan Ross.
Yes, Your Honor. We conferred with the state on Mr. Yusbel Sanchez. He's in custody. These cases are fairly extensive cases. It's the first setting. I believe there's still some discovery coming in. So I believe also the case is going to be assigned to Mr. Jerry Garcia. So if we could get a reset, we definitely appreciate that.
Okay, have you received any offers from the state or no?
No, not yet, Your Honor. They're not at that point yet.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 30-day reset on Mr. Sanchez? All right, we're going to come back on April 12th.
April 12th. Excellent. And Ms. Ferguson, may I be able to briefly be in a breakout room just to touch base with Mr. Sanchez before I leave?
All right, Mr. Sanchez, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 9. And when you're finished with Mr. Sanchez, you need to have him come back to the main room.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Cox.
Yes, ma'am. Judge, I think the paperwork has been signed and submitted. So whenever the court is ready, we're ready to go.
Okay, I'm just waiting. I don't, here we are. All right, who is the prosecutor on Willis?
Michael Villarreal, Your Honor.
All right, the court is going to call 2021 CR 3039, State of Texas versus Alexander Devontae Willis. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Michael Villarreal for the state.
For the
Cornelius
defense?
Cox for the defendant.
And are you Mr. Willis?
Yes, ma'am.
You're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
None.
Any objections from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Willis, did you sign a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video Conference?
Yes,
Did you
ma'am.
review it with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video conference. Next, I'm going to show you what's entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision and First Amendment Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision. Did you review those documents with your attorney? Did you understand them?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Alexander Devontae Willis who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2021 CR 3039 for the offense of assault, bodily injury, family household? Just one moment. All right. Are you the same Alexander Devontae Williams who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2021 CR 3039 for the offense of assault, bodily injury, family household on June 29, 2021 for a period of 2 years? Is that you?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
State.
Violation of condition number 15. On or about the 30th day of September 2021 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant, Alexander Devontae Willis, did then and there fail to attend, comply with all rules, regulations, instructions, and financial agreements as directed by the court and or supervision officer and or head of or authorized personnel of the following counseling or education program: state accredited battering intervention and prevention program in violation of condition number 15.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
And the state would waive and abandon the remaining allegations.
No objections.
All right, Mr. Willis, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 15, the court could find it true, find you guilty, not grant you community supervision, sentence you up to 1 year in the Bexar County Jail and up to a $4,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 15?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Court will find violation of 15 true. Is there an agreement?
Yes, Your Honor. The agreement is to grant the state's motion, enter an adjudication of guilt, and assess punishment at 5 months in the Bexar County Jail with the affirmative finding of family violence.
That's correct, Judge. And it should be judgment satisfied, Judge, because he has the, actually has the time in.
And that's correct, Your Honor. I provided the clerk with the dates and he has 5 months and 1 day in combination.
All right, Mr. Willis, are you asking the court to follow that agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you waiving your right to appeal?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, the court will follow your agreement, find you guilty, not grant you community supervision, sentence you to 5 months in the Bexar County Jail. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with Janelle, Janelle, Bogart, Bogart. Court will give you credit for any time served, and the court will show that the judgment is satisfied. Is there anything else from either side with regards to sentencing?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing, Judge.
All right, Mr. Willis, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And because there's an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a question on what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Willis, I hope you've learned something. You didn't take the BIPP course, so I'm going to give you my truncated version of that course. Don't ever touch anyone in violence. Don't hit anyone. This is something that everybody should have learned in primary school. No one likes to be hit. Would you like somebody to hit you? I'd take that as a no.
Oh,
so don't do it. Do you understand?
I understand.
All right, good luck to you, Ms. Ferguson Willis. L4 can go back.
Thank you, Judge. Might be excused.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right.
Leo Gonzalez.
Yes, Your Honor. I received an offer on my client, Mr. Jones, this morning. We are not going to be taking that offer yet, in the sense of we're going to be reviewing some other things regarding that offer.
Yeah, he said leave breakout room or something like that. Leave or going. No, he said leave or after we sign it. But
okay, I'm sorry. Yes, Mr. Jones.
Yes, correct. So,
all right, so
if we can get a reset, and I'll have some more discussions with my client.
All right, and have you received an offer?
I have, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 30-day reset on Kenneth Jones, please? All right, we'll be back on April 12th.
Okay, Your Honor.
Thank you. You're excused.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.
L7 Jones can go back. Have a great one. Are you still enjoying Lollapalooza? I think he left. Or it was called Leo Palooza when we're in office. His birth month was celebrated actually for 2 months. All right, Adam Cardenas.
Yes, Judge, we're ready on Mr. Aguirre, MTR. There's an agreement to.
All right, let me see if I have documentation on Mr. Aguirre. Did you sign any paperwork?
It was just the consent to conduct by video. We both signed it.
All right, because I don't have that in my box. To the clerks, do you have the paperwork on Aguirre?
Let me check that.
All right, James DeWiggins. On Whitehorn.
Yes, Judge. Could Brittany and I speak to you in a breakout, please?
Speak with me?
Yes.
All right, if you will go to breakout room number 1.
Thank you.
That's my attorney.
Oh,
one more.
All right, and everyone just give me a moment, please. All right, Ms. Ferguson, if you can check your chat box. And Mr. DeWiggins, have you spoken to your attorney, I'm sorry, to your client concerning your motion to withdraw?
I have.
All right.
I met with him, I think 2 weeks ago, and we discussed it.
All right, Mr. Whitehorn, can you unmute?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm muted.
All right, Mr. Whitehorn, your attorney is filing a motion to withdraw. You still need a court-appointed attorney, is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, just give us a moment. We're going to get an attorney for you before you leave today, okay?
Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome. All right, Mr. White, Mr. Wiggins, you're excused.
Hey, may I speak to Mr. Whitehorn before I go?
Yes.
Just updating.
Yes, I'll send you to breakout room number 1 if you'll go back to 1.
All right, thank you.
It's Whitehorn on the docket. Mhm. All right, Mr. Cardenas on Aguirre.
We're ready.
Adam Cardenas, yes.
Yes.
On Aguirre, is this a continuance?
It is, Judge.
All right, who's the prosecutor on Aguirre?
Mike Villarreal.
Okay. All right, the court is
I
going
really
to
hope
call
they can. My doctor
2020
did say I was suffering from mental major depression during the time of this
CR
crime that happened.
4627.
So it'd be good.
State of Texas versus Albert Jeffrey
said it was
Aguirre.
major depression.
Can I have parties announced for
COVID,
the
loss
record,
of my
please, for
job
the
and
state,
everything.
Michael Villarreal.
They can overlook
for the
Adam
defense,
Cardenas on behalf of
records to be able to put me on the mental health
for the
probation.
defense?
Adam Cardenas on behalf of Mr. Garrett, Judge.
And are you Mr. Aguirre?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
None from the state, Your Honor.
Any objection from the defense?
No, Judge.
Mr. Aguirre, I'm showing you what's entitled defendant's consent to appear by video
Okay.
conference. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am, I
Thank
did.
you very much.
Court will find the defendant has
I wish you
knowingly
the best of
voluntarily
luck with your
consented
new
to appear
job.
by video.
Congratulations.
I'm going to show you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you
Okay,
understand?
thank you.
Yes, yes, I did.
Are you the
Okay.
same Albert Aguirre who's placed on deferred adjudication
Okay.
in 2020 CR 4627 for the offense of assault family second offense on August 26, 2020 for a period of 3 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
State?
Violation of condition number 5 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant Albert Jeffrey Aguirre did then and there fail to report to the supervision officer either in person or via electronic means, i.e. Zoom, as directed for the months of October and November 2020 in violation of condition number 5.
How do you plead to that, true or not true? How do you plead to that, true or not true?
True, true, ma'am.
State?
They would waive and abandon the remaining allegations.
Any objections to the state's waivers?
Oh, no, Judge.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 5, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, not grant you community supervision and sentence you up to 5 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 5?
Yes,
Court is finding violation of condition number 5 true. Is there an agreement?
Yes, Your Honor. The agreement is to deny the state's motion, alter and amend conditions of probation to include a TAP evaluation and follow recommendations, as well as 6 months of bi-monthly reporting.
Is that the agreement, Mr. Cardenas?
That is the agreement, Judge.
Mr. Gary, why should I follow this agreement? Why shouldn't I send you to prison?
I don't say the truth, because I was already in here all last year, and I just I don't know, I learned my lesson, but it was just a little hard, that's all, out there, and the money situation with probation, and that's all really miss.
No, because you were here last time.
Yeah.
And I admonished you And that motion was withdrawn back in September. So I don't know what you've learned. Like, what have you learned?
Being
And it wasn't a
incarcerated
money,
for,
it wasn't a money thing. So what have you learned? And why shouldn't I send you to prison?
because I don't deserve to be in prison, man. I just,
Well, I mean, you're on probation, right? So that means you
That's right.
committed a crime. You've been given conditions, which means this is what you have to do in order to stay out of prison, and you're not doing that. Like I don't think anybody at the Bexar County Jail thinks that they deserve to go to prison.
you're right.
But if they look at themselves in the mirror truthfully, they can say, well, yeah, I really deserve to go to prison. So again, we're back to why should I send you to prison? Because the state only went on violation for condition number 5. So that's the only one I'm going to focus on. So you didn't report in October and November of 2021, which means you didn't report in December. You didn't report in January. You didn't report in February. Here we are in March. You didn't report a change of address or job. You haven't enrolled in anger management, and you're on probation for assault family second. You haven't done the BIPP course. And again, you're on probation for an assault case. You didn't do your parenting classes, and you haven't gotten the drug patch. So basically you have done nothing since you've been on probation. I think the only thing you haven't done is picked up a new offense, but that's something all of us don't do every single day. Brenda hasn't picked up a new case. I haven't picked up a new case. Mr. Villarreal, your attorney, have not picked up a new case. So you haven't done anything since you've been on probation. So again, why shouldn't I just send you to prison?
Because I deserve to be free, man. That's all.
Maybe you don't deserve to be free. Because you're not following the rules.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Already know. I don't have a good explanation to give you. I don't have a good excuse to give you.
How are you supporting yourself?
Just going to the temp. I'll go to the temp service out there.
Well, how are your children supporting themselves?
Oh, I pay child support. Yeah, when I go to the temp, they take out about like $30. Well, I only pay for Medicaid. That's what I really pay for. Yeah, but I would go to the temp.
So your children are not eating, not on your salary.
Yeah, they ain't.
So that means that your children you having children that you're supposed to be raising, and part of raising them is supporting them financially. I'm sure you didn't go without eating, but if your children were 100% dependent on you and not the taxpayers, they would not be eating right now, because you don't have a decent job and you don't want to get a decent job, but you do want to hit on people, which is why you're here. This is what the court will do. Ms. Reyes, he pled true to violation of condition number 5. Court will deny the motion, alternate amending conditions to include a TAP evaluation while in custody. He's going to follow the recommendations of the TAP evaluation. And state you all agree to what type of reporting?
6 months of bi-monthly.
All right, we're going to do 6 months of GPS, waive fees, 6 months of bi-monthly reporting, then regular reporting thereafter. And that can be in Zoom or in person. Field visits 2 times per month. All right, Mr. Aguirre, from here on out, everything that you do, you need to ask yourself whether or not this could result in me potentially having my probation revoked and going to prison for 10 years. You understand?
Yes, miss, but I'm going to be on a GPS monitor.
Yes, you are.
So how does that work?
I'm sending you to breakout room number 1. Probation will go over conditions with you. Mr. Cardenas, you can go to number 1 or you can be excused.
Thank you, Judge.
And Rebecca, I know you were in a breakout room on Alexander Willis.
Mhm.
That was a plea of true to violation of condition number 15. 5 months in the Bexar County Jail.
Thank you, Judge.
And then on Rudy Barra, plea of true to violation of condition number 5, 32 days in the Bexar County Jail under 1244.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Jenny Cupid. Paul Basil.
Yes, Your Honor. I was
All
just
right,
trying
what
to
is
find out.
happening with your client?
I've been negotiating. I'm just trying to find out. I was just gonna get a hold of the probation officer. I sent her the time for setup. I really need to know what it is for safety. That's her recommendation, the wait time.
All right, just give us a moment. And did she respond to your question about?
Not yet. I was gonna do it right. I sent her the wrong thing. So that was my mistake.
All right, I'll send you to number 1. If you can go to number 1 and put that in the chat box for her.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Jenny Cupid.
Judge, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
I'm at a doctor's appointment. I apologize. I had to leave the video.
No problem.
I've conferred with Michelle, and Judge, we were working on a plea. She was out for a bit, and a new case has come up that has a direct bearing on a plea in the case before you. And there's one piece of discovery that Michelle and I agree would be very helpful and relevant to resolving everything. We had previously had a reset to address this issue. We just need a little bit more time, Your Honor, to look at this evidence, and hopefully we'll be able to resolve both matters with the plea.
All right, and how much time are you thinking this will take?
Judge, I just need 10 days, 7 to 10 days. I don't know about the state.
State?
That should be sufficient.
All right, Ms. Ferguson or Mr. Cole, can we have a 10-day reset? All right, if you can give me a date in the chat box. All right, we're going to come back on March 21st. The court will not extend plea deadline dates on this case any further.
Thank you, Your Honor. My client is present. May we be excused?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Rolando Arguez.
Yes, Judge.
Yes, on your case.
We are just waiting for my client to come back in. You should be getting paperwork any minute now. I think he just signed it.
Okay, thank you. All right, to the clerks, you should have some paperwork. All right, call Basil on Macias.
Yes, Your Honor, if you could put me back with my client, I got the information I need from the probation officer on both programs.
All right, I'll send you to breakout room number 5.
Fine, thank you.
Rolando Arguez.
Yes, Judge.
All right, who is the prosecutor on Mr.
It's Miss Sparks, Judge.
Brittany Sparks?
Yes, Judge.
Yes, Judge, I'm here.
I'm just waiting for her. All right, the court is going to call 2012 CR 8509, State of Texas versus Matthew Coney. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Brittany Sparks.
For the defense?
Rolando Arguez for the defense.
All right, and are you Mr. Coney?
Yes, ma'am, I'm Matthew. Coin.
All right, how do you pronounce your last name?
It's coin, like change, like coin.
Oh, Coin. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No objection.
Any objection from the defense?
No objections, Your Honor.
Mr. Coyne, did you review a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video Conference with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am, I did, and I signed it.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Next, I'm going to show you what's entitled Motion to Revoke Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
No, I didn't see that document. That's
right.
that's the probation, right?
Yes, it's the motion to revoke your probation.
Oh, yes.
Did you review that with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, I understand it.
Are you the same Matthew Kyle Coyne who was placed on community supervision in 2012 CR 8509 for the offense of credit and debit card abuse on June 28, 2017 for a term of 5 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, state.
Yes, Judge. Violated condition number 2, on or about the first day of December 2021 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Matthew Kyle Coyne, did then and there illegally use a controlled substance, namely meth or amphetamines, in violation of condition number 2.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
State.
In addition, Your Honor, violated condition number 2, on or about the 20th day of December 2021 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant, Matthew Kyle Coyne, did then and there illegally use a controlled substance, namely meth or amphetamines, in violation of condition number 2.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
State waives all other allegations.
Any objections to the state's waivers?
None from the defense, Your Honor.
No, ma'am.
All right, did you understand by pleading true to violations of conditions 2 and 2, the court could find it true, grant the motion, and sentence you up to 15 months in the state jail facility and up to a $1,500 fine? Did you understand?
I thought it was getting dismissed.
No, that is the range of punishment, Mr. Coyne. We haven't gone over the next part.
Oh, okay, so I guess.
All right, so let me repeat the question. Did you understand by pleading true to violation of conditions 2 and 2,
Yes.
the court could find it true, grant the motion, and sentence you up to 15 months in the state jail facility and up to a $1,500 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find violation of conditions 2 and 2 true. Is there an agreement?
Yes, Judge. We're asking that you grant the motion, revoke his probation, and sentence him to 180 days in the state jail facility.
Is that the agreement?
That is the agreement, Your Honor, but we are asking that you give him credit for the time served that he has of 220 days.
All right. So with regards to the restitution amount of $179 to Melissa Gonzalez, does anyone know if that's been paid?
I can pay it today. If it hasn't been paid, I can pay that.
Well, I mean, have you paid it?
I thought it was maybe it was part of the fines that they were allowing me. I have no idea, Your Honor, to be honest, but I can pay anything today.
All right, just give me a moment.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I think the first thing we need to know if it has been paid or not. Everyone, just give me a moment, please.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we are back on the record. The court has spoken with the probation officer in the breakout room. The probation officer has informed the court that there was no restitution order. So is there any objection from either side with the court not ordering restitution?
No objection from the defense, Your Honor.
No objection from the state, Your Honor.
And the court will note for the record that the defendant has been on probation since 2017 and no restitution has been asked for since that time. All right, the court will follow your agreement, grant the motions to 180 days in the state jail facility, give you credit for any time served. Defense, you're saying that the judgment is satisfied?
That is correct, Your Honor. We just looked up, that was took us so long. We looked up the back time and we found that he does have the significant amount.
All right, the court will note that the judgment is satisfied. Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah. All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor, completely.
If you have a question over what the definition is of a weapon or ammunition, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Coyne, the court has noted on the docketing sheet and noted on the record that your judgment is satisfied. However, the state jail facility will have you transferred or request your transference to, that you be transferred to the state jail facility. They will process you and you will be released from there.
Oh, yes, Your Honor.
But because of COVID, they may have changed things. They may say they're not going to accept him. But that is the process under normal circumstances. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Coyne, we can go off the record. I don't know if you learned anything from being on probation or not. It appears that you haven't done anything. It appears that you have used drugs. So, this is what you need to realize. Each time you use drugs, you're taking your life in your own hands because guess what? None of it is FDA approved. Nobody really cares if you're okay or not okay. The person who's selling those drugs, they just want their money.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then if something happens to you, they go on to the next customer. So if you have a drug or alcohol problem, which it appears you do, You probably need to get help for that, and there are plenty of free places. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
All right, good luck to you. Number 14, Jay can go back.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
May I be excused, Judge?
Yes,
Thank you, Judge.
you're welcome. I'm learning to put my L's together.
And roll the R's.
Yes, okay, that I'm working on.
Bye,
One thing at a time.
Right. Have a good one, Judge. Bye-bye.
All right, you too. Bye-bye. Brenna, seeing the double L's no longer sends me in a state of panic. Don't add the rolling of the R's with me just yet. All right, Mr. Basil on John Macias.
Yes, Your Honor. I just chatted with Marcus, talked to him one more time. I think we have an agreement.
Okay, if you will let the clerks know, they'll get the appropriate paperwork for you.
Okay.
Victoria Cruz. Always nice to see you. Who do you have?
Good morning, Your Honor. It is an add-on, David Hernandez. There are motions, he's an inmate, and it's a motion to set bond. We have an agreement with Michelle, but I don't think the new case has a bond amount. So if I could confer with her, please.
All right, I'll send you to number 3. Victoria, you are becoming like Joseph Stateson and Nathaniel Navy. We don't have court until we see you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Anthony Cantrell, are you driving? I think he's moving. Isn't he moving, Brenna? Yeah, I can't have people. Are you stationary?
I'm stopped now, Judge. Yes.
All right, I will not have anyone dying on my watch for zooming and driving, and I will not be a witness to an accident.
Yeah, I understand that, Judge, but I've got live hearings also that I got to get to, so I apologize.
No, but I mean,
I pulled over once. I pulled over once I knew I was going to get. Mari Hinojosa, Judge, this was, she was supposed to get pretrial diversion, and then she didn't show up at her last setting, so you set a warrant for her arrest.
Yes.
So I'm hoping that we can get the pretrial diversion again, and she'll sign the paperwork this time.
Well, I'll send you to a breakout room that may no longer be available. I'll send you to number 3.
All right, thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Ms. Hinojosa, you're not to go to number 3, only your attorney. Rebecca, while you were in the breakout room on Matthew Coyne, he pled true to violations 2 and 2 and 180 days in the state jail facility.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
I can send you a chat.
What did you send the chat to?
No, it just went, Judge.
All right, thank you. All right, and to the clerks, do you have the motion to withdraw on Whitehorn from its attorney, please?
Let me look them real quick, Judge.
Thank you. Hello, Mr. Schaefer.
Hello, Judge. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's a beautiful Monday. You're going to be appointed to Mr. Whitehorn.
Yes, Your Honor.
The first name is Siraaj.
Yes, Your Honor.
Last name Whitehorn.
Yes, Your Honor.
He has 3 cases: 2020 CR 7126, 2020 CR 7125, 2020 CR 7127, and actually 4 cases. Also 2020 CR 7128.
Okay, what was the first case number again?
2020 CR 7126.
Okay, so 225 through 28.
Yes. And I'm going to send you to a breakout room with the state. I know you are not prepared to do anything, but just so that they can tell you what the cases are. And then I'll let you introduce yourself to Mr. Whitehorn.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. I'll send you to breakout room number 3. Could someone from Criminal Trial Division go to breakout room number 3, please, on Siraaj Whitehorn with Mr. Schaefer? Okay. All right, Victoria.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
State and defense have reached an agreement. I'm actually putting it in an email to Your Honor, to Norma, Lupe, and Michelle.
Okay.
And it's an agreement for bond setting and conditions on 2 cases, the MTR and the new case.
Can you do an agreed order for both of those? Because I don't have the motion on the new case.
Yes, Your Honor, I can do that. I'll send the email and I'll do the agreed order.
All right. And so is your client in custody?
Yes, Your Honor.
Let me see where he is.
David Hernandez.
Ms. Ferguson, do you have an ETA on Mr. Hernandez?
Let me check, Judge.
All right, thank you. And Ms. Ferguson, I put something in the chat box for you.
Yes, ma'am. I just sent it back.
All right, thank you. Ms. Ferguson, I sent you a chat. All right, Mr. Schaefer, do you need to speak with Mr. Whitehorn?
Please, Judge.
All right. Mr. Whitehorn, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2 with your attorney.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Mr. Hernandez, your attorney is here. Mr. Hernandez, your attorney is here. Just give us a moment.
Judge, are you there?
Yes.
I think Mr. Whitehorn is having trouble getting to the breakout room.
All right, Mr. Whitehorn, did you see your request to go to breakout room number 1? I'm sorry, number 2?
Yeah, I was looking for it. I was waiting for it. It never showed.
All right, do you see where it says breakout rooms at the bottom of your screen?
Yes, I do.
Click on that.
And join Becker. Thank
You're welcome. All right, Carl Besa.
Yes, Your Honor. We've signed the agreement, all the paperwork. Whenever it comes through, we're ready.
All right. Who is the prosecutor on Macias?
This was a Marcus.
Okay.
And the agreement is to revoke in due time.
All right, just give me a moment. Your person is still in a breakout room, Mr. Basil. If you could go to that breakout room and have them come to the main room.
Okay, fine.
Thank you. And to the clerks, you should have paperwork on Macias. And Ms. Cruz, Mr. Hernandez is here. Do you need to speak with him?
Yes, Your Honor, but I am typing out with the agreed order attached by all parties.
Okay, all right, thank you.
No fire.
Thank you. All right, the court is going to call 2021 CR 1908, State of Texas versus John Eddie Gomez Macias. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Marcus Sanders.
For the defense?
Carl Basil, Your Honor.
And are you Mr. Macias? You're on mute.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you Mr. Macias?
Yes, Your Honor.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No objection.
Any objections from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Macias is showing you what's entitled defendant's consent to appear by video conference. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
My previous attorney said if he.
Court will
he can
find that
bring you up to
defendant has
speed as
known
well,
and
if
voluntarily
you like his
consented
number.
to appear by video. Next, I'm showing you what's
Yes, it's
entitled motion to
210
enter adjudication. I'm sorry, motion to revoke community supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same John Eddie Gomez
Yeah,
Macias
that
who
would
was
be,
placed on
and he said he
community
can bring you up to speed
supervision
with everything.
in
We're trying to get put on
2021
mental health,
CR
probation.
1908 for the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram, on September 16, 2021 for a term of 2 years. Is that you?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have anything to write any of
Condition number 5 in Bear
Is
County,
there a way that you can?
defendant John Eddie Gomez Macias did then and there fail to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of November, December 2021, and January 2022 in violation of condition number 5.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
We'll waive the others.
Any objections to the state's waivers?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Macias, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 5, the court could find it true, grant the motion, sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to $1,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 5?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find violation of condition number 5 true. Is there an agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge, we are asking that you grant the motion, revoke his probation, and reform the underlying judgment to 1 year and sentence him to 1 year state jail.
Is that the agreement?
That's correct, Your Honor. Just asking the court to make sure he gets credit for time served, and I was told he should have about 118 days at this time.
Mr. Macias, are you asking the court to follow that agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you waiving your right to appeal?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, does anyone know if he's paid the $2,800 restitution to auto detailing team Moses Soto?
I don't know, Your Honor, on that one. It wasn't in the motion to revoke, so I don't have any information on that.
Ms. Reyes, do you know if he's paid that restitution amount? It was a part of the plea bargain agreement.
I'm checking, Judge.
Judge, he has it.
All right, so that hasn't been paid.
That's cool.
All right, Mr. Macias, are you asking the court to follow your agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you waiving your right to appeal?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, the court will follow your agreement, sentence you to 1 year in the state jail facility, give you credit for any time served. There's to be restitution of $2,800 to auto. Why did I say auto like that? I don't know. I'm like auto. Well, I'm glad I brought joy to somebody's life. Detailing team, Moses Soto. Moses Soto. Give you credit for any time served. All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you want to know the definition of a weapon or ammunition, you'll need to contact an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Macias, you had a shot at felony drug court. Obviously, you didn't do well because you're back here. I would not have sent you to felony drug court if there were not drug issues. When you're released from the state jail facility, and even at the state jail facility, you need to try to get help for your issues. I'm going to tell you what I've told everybody else on this screen. None of these drugs are FDA approved. People are making them, with rats and roaches running around. They don't care if something drops on the floor, they pick it up and they give it to you and you buy it when you could have been spending your money on something else. And they don't care if you live or you die from taking drugs. They just move on to the next customer. So don't be the person who ends up dying from an overdose, or be the person who gets bad drugs, or be the person who's constantly in and out of jail because you can't stop using. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Macias. And what is that scrawl on your chest? Was that painful?
It was. I got it picked.
All right, now you're trying to cover it up. It's too hot in San Antonio to be wearing turtlenecks during the summer, but you have no choice. All right, good luck to you, Mr. Macias.
All right, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Make excuse, Your Honor.
Yes.
Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you, you too. All right, Mr. Schaefer on Mr. Whitehorn, that has been reset. Who's the prosecutor you were working with?
I just spoke with Brittany Sparks, Your Honor.
All right, Brittany Sparks.
Yes, Judge.
All right, this case is going to be reset for April the 11th to make sure that you get all the discovery. But where we were in this process is that the state was trying to obtain some medical records, or there were some outstanding medical records. State, where are you on that?
Judge, I actually just got the missing information right before Mr. Schaefer logged on. So we should have those records hopefully within 2 weeks.
Okay. All right, so they will have the medical records for you, Mr. Schaefer.
Very good. We'll be back on the 11th of April.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge. May we both be excused.
Yes.
Thank
Norma,
you.
you can let them know Whitehorn 14M can go back.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let me see who we have here. Ms. Taylor, we're waiting for your attorney, Mr. Garza.
Okay.
Ms. Hinojosa, we're going to bring you back at 2 p.m. Norma, can you let them know Hinojosa at 2 p.m.? And Ms. Taylor, 2 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let me see, who do we have? All right, everyone, I am going to stop live stream and we will be back at 2 p.m.